The verse this morning will be Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Welcome, everyone, to the University Church of Christ and to our AM services. As always, it's good to see everyone, including our visitors, and I'm honored to be able to come up here and speak to you this morning just a portion of truth from the Word of God. Navigating through life. Now, the name of the title of our lesson might be a little bit misleading when you get through. We begin, but as we get into our lesson, you'll know why I chose that title. Now, this lesson is an answer to some questions that were presented to me. Sometimes it takes a while for me to work out a way in which to present certain things. And this one's taken a bit of time, but hopefully the person who asked the question will receive the answer they were looking for. Conservative history informs us some things about the religious beliefs of the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire. If we include the minor deities and spirits, those folks were worshiping 30,000 different gods. And that's a conservative number. That's just a conservative guess as to how many different deities, both great and small, that those people were worshiping. Now, the major deities, so to speak, that they worshiped were Jupiter, Juno, Minerva, Neptune, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Ceres, Mercury, and Vesta. What I want us to get from this is that all of these religions had been around for thousands of years before the events of Acts chapter 2, before the establishment of the Lord's church. Now I want to bring our discussion into American culture, into the 21st century. Christianity makes up 73.7% of religious beliefs. Now, I give a word of warning. When I bring statistics like this, I've been looking at polls, okay? And I don't take a whole lot of stock in polls, so when I do this, I have maybe one or two that have a conservative leaning, and I'll get from my information from those two. But even that I take with a grain of salt, and I encourage you to do the same. So with this right here, I need for all of us to understand that when they say Christianity, what they're including begins with Catholicism and includes every Protestant religion on the planet that's in America. It even includes Mormonism. So when you look at things like this, just understand what they are calling Christianity. So now that I have that out of the way, here's kind of a layout of the religions in this country. Christianity, Orthodox, atheism, unaffiliated, agnostic, Judaism, Islam, didn't mean to say in-laws, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. So what's my point in this? All of these things have been going on for thousands of years, and nothing has changed. Before we move on, I want to remind us of some things. This is Luke 21:33. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. And I want to add to that Matthew chapter 16 and verse 18. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. There have always been gullible people who will believe a lie and worship the creature more than, or rather than, the Creator, Romans 1 and verse 25. And there always will be. There are certain things that are not going to change until this earth melts with a fervent heat. The Bible in its purity still exists, regardless. The Church of Christ in her purity still exists regardless. So the truth of it is, new religions pop up every year. Some of them last a little while. Some of them die out pretty quick. Some people claim that capitalism is the new religion of American society. There are those today who will tell you that Satanism is on the rise in our country, and that conservative, patriotic Christian Americans need to take immediate action. But before we start giving people whom we do not know, organizations we do not know, our hard-earned money, and start jumping through hoops, all I'm asking us to do is just calm down, take a deep breath, and ask one question: why? Why am I reacting that way? Now, I just read for you 21 false religions, beginning with Jupiter and ending with Buddhism. 21 of them. Do we not realize that Satan is behind each and every one of them? Now, I want to move on into another topic because it's very, very important. With some people, it's extremely important. They worry about it. Artificial intelligence and robotics. People worry as to the effect that artificial intelligence and robotics is having upon religious beliefs. Now, this is a problem. I'm not going to deny it. I've read a lot of research, conservative research, and yes, there is a definite, can I put it, a definite decline in the belief of a deity among those who are involved in AI and robotics on a daily basis. Now, don't twist around what I said. Involved in it on a daily basis. They're in it every day. Okay? But with that knowledge, I want to remind everyone that the same research was done on the effects of too much television. There was a time when people were just sure that television was corrupting the minds of individuals, and they did their research. The same research was done going to the movies and watching too many movies. They did the same research on spending too much time on the internet. They did the same research when Facebook and Instagram and all of these social media ports became popular. Spending too much time on social media, what is the effect that it's having on the belief of a deity in these people's minds? All of these things bring about a disbelief in God, and that's because it all comes from the mind of man. Do you follow me? Do you remember this? Jeremiah 10:23. O Lord, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man who walks to direct his own steps. All of technology is used for evil because Satan is alive and well and he's very good at what he does. But that does not mean that all technology is evil. God has allowed man his technological advances to help himself. There's no reason at all to be scared of these things if our intentions are honorable. Free moral agency still applies. We are all still free to choose, just as we have been free to choose what television programs we were watching, what movies we wanted to go see, what we look at and reply to on Facebook and Instagram. We're free to choose. Nobody's twisting our arm behind us and making us do things and watch things that we shouldn't be watching. What we need to do, I think, is learn how to navigate our lives in this technological world. Now, I know that there are many people who are just scared of it. I get it. But we live in a century of technology. Technological advances, the ones that are with us today, are not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. People are going to continue to work on them, to advance them. They are going to be a part of our lives from this point forward. So there are just some things we're all going to have to learn to live with regardless of our age. Now let me move the lesson forward. Bringing order to our desires. Now, I'm going to bring James into this conversation so that we can all understand what I'm talking about by using that heading. This is James 4, verses 1 and 2. Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. Now, someone once said, and I agree with it, any habit left on its own will form the world to its own image. It's a true statement. Bad habits equal bad desires. People will flock to their bad desires. They will seek those desires for their shelter. And it doesn't matter where an individual lives on this planet. We could go, I don't know, let me pick some place where we won't get killed. I don't know. Let's go to London. We can fly out of here and we can go to London. And I promise you, we will seek shelter even there in our desires. Human beings find peace in it. So it don't matter who we are, what gender we are, or where we live in this planet, or even how old we are. And that shelter can be anything from a false religion to a false god to the internet. It can be anything. If we want to help others, brothers and sisters, we have to learn how to help ourselves. What is it? What is it that we take refuge in? What is it? In whom do we truly take refuge in? Well, I can tell you what it must be if we do not want the things that we're talking about this morning to have a negative influence upon our lives and upon the lives of our families. Psalm 16:1, preserve me, O God, for in you I put my trust. Psalm 62:7, in God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in God. So these all lead on into my next point. Free the captive mind. So I mentioned the word mind, so everyone should know that we're dealing with the intellect here. And since we're dealing with the intellect, Hebrews 5:14 fits the conversation. But solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Human beings are fallible. We're fallible. If left on our own, we are going to make bad judgments. We are going to get ourselves into trouble. We're going to make bad choices. That's exactly what Jeremiah 10:23 is all about, that we read earlier. If the main source of people's biblical information is coming from artificial intelligence, guess what? People are going to make bad choices. They just are. Because that information is left-leaning. It's not going to give anyone an accurate analysis of biblical teaching. But unfortunately, that's where people go today. What search engine you use can use any search engine you want to. You go there and just type something in. The first thing that's going to appear is a box, and it's going to be artificial intelligence, right? I think I explained this a little bit Wednesday night. The people who put that together, they're going to look at 1,000 different sources really, really quick. But they're going to input, let's just say, the first 500, if that many, as to what their answer is. But that's where everybody seems to stop. It's right there in that box. Nobody seems to want to go a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further and do some research, take the time to really get in to the truth of the matter. AI is quick. AI is easy. It's right there at our fingertips. And guys, I don't mean to be rude about all of this, but the truth is, lazy people are not going to take the time to exercise their senses through devout Bible study. They are not going to do it. And furthermore, there's nothing we can do about it. There is nothing any of us can do to stop that kind of behavior. The only thing logical thing that you and I can do is prepare ourselves to the best of our ability to answer scripturally whatever questions they may ask us. Now, that is the only thing we can do, because they have made up their mind where they want to go. And they're going to keep going. And whether or not our answers to their questions have any impact on them, who knows? Only God can know that, right? We plant, we water, but it's God that gives the increase. People's motives get them in a lot of trouble, in the church and out of the church. Remember what it is that we always say about honesty? If we're not going to be honest with ourselves, then we won't be honest with other people, and therefore we will not be honest with God. Our prayer should be that people would learn to be honest with themselves. Just be honest about their motives. And if someone were asking me and the question led to this, I would ask them, what are your motives? Be honest about it. Tell me what your motives actually are for going to the websites and using the technology that you're using in the way that you're using it. Why am I looking into all these different religions? What am I actually looking for? Why am I seeking answers from artificial intelligence? If I'm not honest about all of this, I can fool myself. I can convince myself of all kinds of things all day long if I'm not willing to question my own motives for doing such a thing. Honesty. Honesty causes the human mind to ask questions of itself. Kind of like this. What makes me think that I'm the best judge of whatever it is that I'm up to? Our young people should ask themselves that question when they're away from their parents and dabbling around on the internet. What makes me think I'm the best judge of whatever it is that I'm up to? I remember a scripture, perhaps you do too, Proverbs 16:25. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Just because something sounds good does not mean that it is good. Just because I think I'm good does not mean that I actually am good. I mentioned this last Wednesday, so you can all take this for what it's worth to you. The minds behind artificial intelligence believe themselves to be your moral superiors, and that's just fact. They believe themselves to be above you. And so therefore they expect you to just absorb everything that they put out. All the answers that they give to questions. And brothers and sisters, we're talking about the Bible here, but they do it in everything. They feed us the answers that they want us to have. But then again, if you think about it, so will every man-made religion on this planet. They'll tell us exactly what our lazy minds want to believe, right? Only the Bible. Only the Bible will open up a man's mind. Let him look inside himself and see himself for what he really is. Only the Bible can cause an individual to question their motives, which is why so many people will not consult it. They would rather just go on a website, on a search engine, type in a question, and just absorb whatever AI answer they get. You'll remember this. This is Hebrews 4, 12 and 13. For the Word of God is living and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, and of joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And there is no creature hidden from His sight, but all things are naked and open to the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. A whole lot of people, folks, a lot of people are going to wake up one day and find out that they don't come close to the person that they thought they were, because they absorbed all the nonsense that was coming at them, and they never questioned any of it. What's my ultimate goal? With many people, it's self-preservation at any cost. Can I be honest with you folks? I can do that, right? Not get in any trouble? Okay. Any preacher, Crespin, who's been at this for a while, doesn't look at you people. Isn't anything personal, you just don't exist. When you come up here, you go into your own little world. Don't see anything. Which is why I can stand up and talk to 4 people, 500 people, 5,000 people. Doesn't faze me in the bit. Doesn't faze any veteran preacher, because we don't look at the crowd. We don't see it. We're wrapped up in our own little world because we're up here to do a job we have worked hours at, putting it together and rehearsing. But there's that 5% of the time, and this is in any given congregation, be it a gospel meeting, a lecture. The only time I look at people, and I know that other preachers look at people, is when we're in a classroom setting, and that's because people are talking to them. I'm looking here and looking there right now, but I'm not looking at you. Because what happens in that 5% of the time that you do actually look at the audience, you'll find people clipping their fingernails, filing their fingernails, playing on the telephone, laughing, telling jokes, things of that nature. It's incredibly distracting. Now, I'm not saying that people are actually doing something wrong when they're doing that, and I'm not saying that people aren't listening. I'm just telling you that I never see it. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to see it. I'm not looking at you. But there's that chance that I might look. So I'm asking you not to do anything right now, to look right up here at me and give me for just a few seconds your undivided attention. And again, I'm not going to see you. Go ahead. You can look up here, here, check out my teeth. I won't know it. I can tell myself that my ultimate goal is to get to heaven all day long in an attempt to convince myself that I actually believe that. Everybody following me? I can do it all day long. just for fun, when you go home this afternoon or this evening, whenever it's convenient, conduct a test. Go into the bathroom and shut the door and look at that big mirror where nobody else can see you. It's just you and yourself in that mirror. Look at yourself and ask yourself, or better yet, tell yourself, my ultimate goal is to get to heaven. And then look at yourself after you say it. If you see a smile come across your face, or a sheepish look of any kind, you will know there in your own closet where nobody can see you but God that you're not being honest. It's just an experiment. Go and try it. Have you ever been to a gas station? I'd go to a gas station, go to Brooks's. Happens all the time at Brooks's. And the attendant behind the counter after you've checked out says, "Have a blessed day." What is our natural response to that? You too. But do we really mean it? You ever thought about that? Is that person behind that counter, why are they telling me to have a blessed day? Is it just something that they want to say to appease their conscience, make them look good, please the boss? You know, do they really care about what kind of a day that I have? And do I really care about what kind of day that they have? I don't know. I can tell you this, if our ultimate goal is really to get to heaven, something like the following that I'm going to read to you should be going through our minds all the time. It's Ephesians 5, 9, and 10. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, finding out what is acceptable to the Lord. Honestly finding out what is acceptable to the Lord. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of religions on this planet. How many of them, look at that verse, how many of them do you believe can read that right there, Ephesians 5, 9, and 10, with a clear conscience, without some sheepish look coming across their face, without that little tingling, you know, when these little hairs right here stand up a little bit? When you're not being honest with people, or perhaps you're deceiving your own self. It'll happen. Happens to everybody. The mind of Ephesians 5, 9, and 10 does not seek scriptural guidance from artificial intelligence. It does not. This is Psalm 119, verses 105 and 106. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn and confirmed that I will keep your righteous judgment. That, brothers and sisters, is the mindset that's focused on heaven. There it is. That's the mindset that has the goal, get to heaven. Get there. Nothing's going to hinder me from achieving my goal. Let's move a little bit further into it and see if we can't bring it to an end. Helping ourselves and others navigate the madness. If you're expecting a dramatic answer to this, you're not going to get it because I don't have one. But I will give you a logical answer. And I'm going to do it by presenting a forgotten principle. For whatever reason, for the last many generations, something very, very simple is not being taught to our children? Humility. Basic definition. The quality of having a modest view of one's value or importance. We live in a world where people make a living, and I guess I can go a little bit further than that, where people are getting filthy rich pretending that they are competent and knowledgeable. Just pretending. It's a lifestyle. And they're becoming very, very wealthy. Nobody, and I mean nobody, learns, nobody grows with an attitude like that. People often speak of the Pharisaic attitude that they believe people have, and generally they kind of get that wrong. This is a Pharisaic attitude. This is Matthew 23, 25, and 26. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you cleanse the outside of the cup and dish, but the inside are full of extortions and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, that the outside of them may be clean also. So many people are trying to fake their way through life, trying to fake their way to heaven. That's why they turn to AI and false religions to begin with. The false religions will tell them whatever their lazy intellect wants to know. They'll feed off of it. They'll take their shelter in it. Live in it, folks. Teaching others begins with the example that we set. Doesn't matter about the knowledge, doesn't matter about being able to define words and terms. It all begins with what people see in us. So I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about being a humble, honest example before people. If we can't do that, nobody is going to listen to us. If they have to have a reason, they have to be able to see in you and I that something is definitely different. People have to have a reason not to take the path of least resistance. They will choose false religions and artificial intelligence every time over God's Word. They'll do it all day long. It won't matter about the literature that we put out. It won't matter about the gospel meetings we try to do. It won't matter about the summer series we try to do. We can put our lessons on YouTube. You name it, we can do it, and it's not going to work if they don't see us living what we believe, folks. What we do shows who we or what we really believe. And people can see it. They see how we use our time. They can see what's more important to us. They see it by the clothes we wear, our mannerisms, the words we choose in conversations. Look, I got to find a way to end this. I've been talking too long. So I'm searching for a way out. I really am. If we believe the biblical truth that the soul is saved through belief in Jesus Christ, through repenting of our sins, through confessing that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and by washing those repented sins away in the waters of baptism, and then living as faithfully as we can. We have to live a life that demonstrates we believe it, or they're just words on paper. Does that make sense? I hope so. AI, robotics, electronic banking for that matter, is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It is permanent. It is here to stay. It is futile to fight against it. But all of these things can be used for good, or they can be used for evil. Now, some people will ignore it. They will ignore the technical advances of society. They will refuse to learn it. They'll just plant their feet. And I'm going to tell you, if you do your own research, you'll find this to be true. We act like that, take that kind of an attitude, then it's going to bury us. It will bury you. Because everything's changing. Everything is going that way. You know, how many of us are still hanging on to cable television? It's gone. It's a thing of the past. But we still hang on to it because we have these fears. And there's no need to fear it. It is going to change. Cable's, it's antique. Simple things. You know how much money the audible book industry made in 2024? Look it up. Over $2 billion. There is no author that is not looking very, very careful at audible technology. You don't want to know why? Because everybody's got one of these. Everybody's got one. It's a little handheld computer that happens to have a phone attached to it. And you can do anything with this. Anything. People are busy. You know, these days, husbands and wives, they get up early, they go to work, they take care of kids, and they go to bed tired. So if they're going to learn anything, it's going to be audible. Are you listening to what I'm telling you? I'm just telling you the truth. It's the world we live in. Evangelism. How many of you listen to podcasts? You listen to podcasts? I listen to podcasts all the time. I don't have time to sit and watch the news. And for that matter, I'm tired of being lied to. So I have certain people, certain podcasts, conservative people that I trust. And I know I can listen to them. They're going to give me every side of the story, and I'm going to come to an understanding of what's actually going on out there. Podcast, folks, here to stay. Multi-billion-dollar industry, podcasting. Evangelism. A lot of our young folks look at or use what they can see, certain technologies like YouTube and things of that nature. But you know where the bulk of it is? Podcasting. I'm not kidding you. That is the direction that technology is taking us. Why? Because everybody's busy, and you can drive in your car and listen to a podcast. It's time to get out of the car. It's not a problem. When you get back from the grocery store, you get back in it, the conversation picks right back up, right where you left off. And you can have several different, avenues with a podcast. Right now, evangelism through podcasting is the place to be. It's technology. It's what people are listening to. And I can assure you, turn a blind, any congregation anywhere that turns a blind eye to that, their evangelism efforts are going down the toilet, because that's where it's at. The world turned, folks. God gave us a planet to live on, and He expects us to do the best we can in it. And that includes using the technological advances that are available in society. Use them right to do good, not evil. So I'll stop talking now. Lesson's yours. And I extend the invitation to anybody that I can help or our elders can help. If we need to talk about some things or pray about some things, we will do that. But you got to let it be known. And I ask you to do that while we stand and while we sing.